Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Day in History, our nightly look back at a specific day in history, where we take a look back at the events of a day, the historic context in which those events took place, and the historic ramifications of those events. And we take a look at some people that were born on that day and some people that died on that day. As always, if you have not yet, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon to be alerted anytime I post new content, and tell a friend. And without any further ado, this day in history, April the 22nd. And on this day in 1876, the first game in the history of the National League is played. This game is often denoted as the first game in Major League Baseball history. The game was played in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, between the Philadelphia A's, not to be confused with the current athletics organization, and the Boston Baseball Club. Also, not to be confused with the current Boston Day Red Sox. No, this team was the National League Boston Baseball Club. They would later move to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and later move from Milwaukee to a place a little bit closer to where I live in the world, Atlanta, Georgia, and would adopt the moniker the Boston Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, and the Atlanta Braves. And in typical Braves fashion, they were able to win a game in April. We know that their trouble begins a little bit later in the year in October. Oh. So the first game in Major League Baseball history played on this day in 1876. And we're not going to even get into the debate on who was the founder of baseball, because that is a whole nother can of worms. So, births that occurred on this day. In 1923, in Dallas, Texas, the most prolific television producer in television history is born, Aaron Spelling. Mr. Spelling was, as I said, a prolific television producer. His producer and executive editor credits total 218, which is a record. In 2009, he was the 11th highest earning deceased celebrity. He had died in 2006 at the age of 83 in June of that year. He owned, at the time of his death, the single largest family home in Los Angeles, and it had 123 rooms in it. Of course, Mr. Spelling's earnings came from the many television shows that he was producer and executive editor of that were numerous. Beverly Hills 90210, Charlie's Angels, to name a few. Seventh Heaven is another. So, as I said, many income streams for the at that time deceased Mr. Spelling. Deaths that occurred on this day. In 2013, at the age of 80, Dave Gold passed away. Mr. Gold is really, in my opinion, to be credited with revitalizing the dollar store industry. At the time, in the 80s, it was seen as a graveyard in the retail industry for bad and broken products. And he changed this by developing a good relationship with vendors, often, as I have read, paying them sometimes in bagels and cheese, which was kind of a humorous story to me. And how he initiated this concept was he inherited a tiny liquor store from his father, and he tested a price point on some bottles of wine, selling them at 99 cents. He had noticed previously when he would try to sell cheese at $1.02 or 98 cents that it wouldn't sell. But when he sold these bottles of wine at 99 cents, they sold out like hotcakes. And he said, I'm going to sell everything for 99 cents. And his stores are called 99 cents only. They have since raised their price a little bit. What I've read, the highest selling product in the highest dollar amount they will sell is $99.99. But most of the products sold in their store still today are 99 cents. I have never been to a 99 cents only store because they are mostly located in the western part of the United States. But I have been to Dollar General, Family Dollar, and of course Dollar Tree, which is a similar concept where everything's only $1. So a real revolutionary in the field of retail. He saw a concept and voila, made it a success. And revitalized an industry. So much so that there today are Dollar Generals in every nook and cranny of this country. I believe I've read that Dollar General does not want an American to be able to go more than 10 miles without seeing a Dollar General. And being a resident of the southern part of the United States, an area that unfortunately is not very well off financially, I can attest to the fact that this is true. On my way to work, a short 20-mile drive, I pass 3 Dollar Generals. And if I drove about 4 miles in either direction, I could pass one going east and one going west. So there are plenty of Dollar Generals in my neck of the woods. Huge retail footprint for Dollar General. And it's amazing to me that in the 80s, this was seen as a retail graveyard because today it's a huge industry, as I said. So the man that in many respects probably saved that industry, Dave Gold. Not a name a lot of people probably in this part of America where I live even know. Interesting figure. I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you there.